Hey Brian, what do you got there?
This is what I use for prepping between my finishes.
What is it?
Let me show you.
Brian, what are we looking at today?
This here are a couple of sanders and the sandpaper that I use in furniture repair.
Is this here a grammatically correct sentence? I think it's this here is. I want you to look.
Here is a collection of the products that we use. Here's a collection of sanding supplies that I use for repairing furniture. These are flat sheets of sandpaper. This here is a Scotch-Brite sanding pad. These are the sanding discs that have a adhering adhesive on there to stick to the orbital sander. This is a quarter sheet sander, which is very useful. It uses the flat sandpaper. Sandpaper comes in many grits, 120, 220, 320, 400. That number represents the grains of sand that are in a square inch on the paper. So the higher the number, the finer the grains of sand, so the finer the sandpaper. We start off with coarser sandpaper and work our way finer. This we just purchased at Home Depot. So anyone can buy this sandpaper. You can get multi-packs that have several grits inside the same package. So this is perfect for homeowners. This is 120, 220, 320, and 400.
So you're saying these grits are kind of like the standard approach to finishing furniture repair?
Yes.
Take the powered sanders off, and we're starting from caveman era here, which is like, I'm a homeowner. I bought a piece of sandpaper because I need to refinish this piece of wood. So how are you approaching using this paper with your hands?
Okay, so while I don't use a full sheet, so I'm only going to use a half a sheet. And folding sandpaper is a preference. Anyone may have their own way of doing it. The way I choose is I fold it in 1/3. So I can use one surface here, and then it's gritty here. So when I'm folding it, it's not sliding around in my hand. I've got good grip, and I'm using the abrasive. As it wears, I can flip it over and use this side, or I can then flip it and use that side as well. So I have 3 sides to use when I do it that way. And that's perfect for sanding flat surfaces.
There are products like handles and stuff for sandpaper too.
Sanding blocks, yes.
Do you find those helpful in a manual
helpful.
environment?
They're very, very helpful, but I tend to lose them.
I know when you sand, it creates a lot of sawdust, wood product, and it can clump up the sandpaper. How do you know when a sandpaper either needs to be replaced, or do you clean it?
You can tell by the feel. Sometimes when you're sanding a finish, if it hasn't dried thoroughly, the finish will roll up into little balls and cause little lumps on here. And of course, then that will ruin your sandpaper and you'll need a fresh piece.
So basic sandpaper, tried and true, been around for probably a long time. Nothing wrong with it. Then we move into the Scotch-Brite pad.
This is a sanding pad. These we use for getting around surfaces when it's not flat. So we want to get around an edge, a round edge. This is perfect. Spindles, chairs, table legs.
It's a really interesting product. I remember when I worked in auto body, I liked these a lot because they weren't as hard on my hands as the paper. This looks like it has a different approach to sanding. Like one's a paper and this is more of like it's not a fabric, but what is this?
These are a bunch of fibers glued together, and on these little fibers, if you take a magnifying glass, you'll find grits of sand that are glued to the fibers themselves, and you can feel them. So as this wears down and the fibers wear away, you're exposing others. So the sanding material is all the way through.
Do these pads come rated like sandpaper and grit?
Yes, they do. Fine, medium, and coarse for certain brands. If they get more advanced, depending upon the supplier, they'll have numbers grading them.
Why wouldn't I just use this instead of regular sandpaper?
Well, it doesn't fit your sanders, first of all, and these are much more expensive than regular sandpaper. It's tailored more for fine finishing. This is when you're going to use this on the final surface when you're finishing between sanding coats. Okay, so for the orbital sander, this is air, pneumatic sander, and it uses these round self-adhesive discs. There's adhesive on the back and it sticks to the flat surface. And that uses air to turn the sander.
Are the pads any notably different from the flat sandpaper? Do they come in the same grits?
No, they're exactly the same, except they're cut into a circle and there's adhesive on the back. It has numbers on the back. It's exactly the same, except it's cut and put into a roll. If you see the disc, you can see it has a little bit of, it's not perfectly rounded. It has a little bit of, see it? I'll move it slowly. It goes up and down a little bit. And that moves. You can see how it's a little closer here to the side and it's a little further away, and that spins around. This is a very nice sander. This requires a large compressor to run. If you have a smaller compressor, then you can't run it as long because, of course, your compressor will run out of air.
Last but not least, I don't even remember the name of this product.
The random sander?
Random sander.
Yeah, this one's random orbit as well, except it doesn't spin in a circle like this. What it does is this moves and vibrates in a random orbit. This is a quarter sheet sander, so it uses 1/4 of these sheets. So one sheet will make 4 for this guy. So that is great for when you're doing home projects.
Does this random sander take normal sandpaper, or does it need adhesive back sandpaper?
No, it has a clip here.
Oh.
So yeah, so you can just clip that on. It's easy to put on. These sanders are nice because this uses sandpaper that's sold at every hardware store. So it's easy to get, it's easy accessible. And you can buy this kind of sander at every hardware store in different brands, different sizes.
Sorry, that scared me. It was so loud.
Did the camera jump?
Yeah, that was so loud. Okay, it's not like ear piercing, but like
okay,
definitely louder than regular sanding.
Oh, they all make noise. It's just and you can see how it gums up the paper. So there was some finish on here.
This is sawdust up the corner. I see finish.
There's some finish here, and it built up on here. It depends on how the sander is. It's going to heat up that surface and then kind of make the paint stick to the surface here on the sandpaper.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that looks like it cut pretty fast compared to regular sanding.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to be careful.
Yeah, well, hand sanding is one thing. If you got a lot of sanding too, this is a very good sander to use. More affordable options will not have many selections. Like for settings, some will come with a dial from 0 to 10. This one here is just on off and away it goes. The only way you can change its speed is by changing the grit. So a finer sandpaper will take less and a coarser sandpaper will take more.
How much would a product like this cost, like for the average homeowner?
The sander?
The sander.
They range depending upon brand and store. So it could be anywhere from $40 to $150 depending upon the brand. This is a very good buy. I have several sanders of this style right here. Different brands, of course.
Brian, we know you have several sanders because you do this for a living.
Yeah. This is something that if you're testing out your sander for the first time, test it out on a scrap piece of wood and see how it works, and then go to work on your furniture.
Tips for people, first-time sanders.
One of the easiest mistakes to make is using too coarse a grit sandpaper. You'll want to use a heavier grit because you want to take the wood down or surface down faster. The drawback is that if you're staining the wood afterwards, the random orbit motion will leave swirl marks in the wood if you're using a coarser grit, requiring you to sand longer with a finer grit sandpaper. If you use a medium grit and work your way down to a finer sandpaper, this is going to come with experience, and then you have less swirl marks to deal with afterwards. 80 grit would be the coarsest I would ever use on wood. This has the ability to shape the wood. That's how much wood it'll remove. This will leave a lot of heavy swirl marks in your wood if you're going to apply a wood stain afterwards. Then it would be best to go from 80 to 120, and then from 120 to 220.
And when you say go between, you mean sand all of the work area again.
That's right. So if you sanded this surface here with 80, you'd have to go over it again with 120 and then 220. You could probably stop at 220, and then that would be enough to eliminate all the swirl marks. If you need to, you can always hand sand in the direction of the wood as your final sand. And that also too helps get rid of any of your swirl marks that will show up when you go to stain the wood.
Is there any danger present if someone sanding were to jump from something like an 80 all the way to a 400 with no in between?
The 400 will not do anything. It'll plug up fairly quickly. It won't remove a lot of those scratches. The jump is too much for the 400 may just start to polish the upper surface of the wood and won't go into the deeper scratches that the 80 grit left behind.
Can you use sandpaper on all types of wood? Is it just like sandpaper works on every hardwood, softwood, all woods?
That's right. You can use this on any surface that needs sanding. The only difference you may see is there's some wet and dry sandpapers. Those are used more for polishing a finish.
I was just going to say, when do you introduce water to the equation?
Water will be used with wet and dry sandpaper if, for instance, I wanted to polish a table and I needed a high gloss surface. What that does is that helps the sandpaper cut into the finish evenly, so you don't have any strokes. Like when you're pressuring on you can easily see where my fingerprints are on here just from using the sandpaper. So those high points are pressure points. What happens is the water acts as a lubricant and allows you to have even pressure on the surface, so you get a much smoother finish.
Safety information, obviously we're creating a lot of particles in the air.
Yes, this one not so much. You're going to get some a lot of vibration here, so that's going to translate into your arm and things like that. So after a long period of time, you're going to feel a vibration still in your hand, or maybe some numbness. This will be the same way. For long holding on to this for a long period of time. Again, it's in your hand, so you want to take a break once in a while. You can wear gloves. Gloves do help out absorb the vibration. Prolonged use, you will need a break, or your arm will start to ache. If you're going to be doing a lot of sanding, then a dust mask is very important. Otherwise, you'll be building that dust up in your lungs.
And where is the line of like a homeowner versus a professional here?
Depends on the tools. I mean, a homeowner can have a compressor and random orbital sander. These are readily available at stores, so you can buy both. Home Depot sells both, so it depends on how much you want to spend. Obviously, I can buy a low-cost sander for $49. This I will probably be buying for $100, but then I also have to buy the compressor and the hose to go with it, and so that is much more expensive. So economically, this would be the best sander to start with.
And how important are these tools to the career of furniture repair?
Absolutely, we don't work without these. We can't work without these. It takes too long.
So very important.
Yeah, very important.
Thanks for watching Revive. You'll find links to all the products we used in today's video down in the description below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future uploads. You can also visit us at revivefs.ca to learn more about our professional furniture repair services. And if you're ready for more, there are videos on screen right now that we think you'll enjoy.